The old way of saving your marriage is dead. If you want a way that actually gets your wife to want to work on the problems with you, to get her to let go of all the past and to notice your changes, you need to know what is actually working right now. Now, I spent the last decade helping thousands of husbands save their marriage when their wife no longer wanted to work on things. And right now, I'm watching 90% of men waste their time on methods that not only don't work, but even push their wife further away. So here are 4 mistakes that you are making that when you stop doing these, win your wife back. Now, the reason I'm showing you what not to do instead of what to do is twofold. Number one, because in the past decade of working with thousands of men, 80% of winning her back is stop doing the things that pushed her away. Not taking actions anymore is still an action. It's called an opposite action. Much like telling you not to text her is telling you to actively be silent. And then at the very end of the video, I'm gonna give you the 20% with the 5 apex actions that have been proven consistently over time to get repeatable results. Now, I would say, honestly, I'm not exaggerating with this number, 99% of men use this first mistake when they first try to save their marriage. Let me tell you through a story how I made this mistake myself with a woman that I wanted to marry. I mean, this woman was my dream woman. She was everything that I ever wanted, and I screwed it up because I used this approach. I remember sitting in my room and she was looking up at me, staring at my bed, and there was so much pain in her eyes, like she was about to put down a pet that she had for years of her life. Just pure misery in her eyes. My heart, it wouldn't stop racing. I just wanted to fix things, but I knew the bomb that was about to come out of her mouth. She let a few seconds go by, which honestly felt like hours. And then she said it. I don't know what to do, Josh. I think we should just take a break. Now, I had no idea that one sentence could completely eviscerate me so completely. I got angry at first. I said, no, there is no in between of couples. Either you work it out or you are done. I gave her an ultimatum completely out of fear. She responded so calmly, almost coldly and calculated. Josh, this isn't the only way. You see, for the previous 3 to 4 months of our relationship, I was riddled with insecurity. I mean, deep down, looking back on it, I didn't think I deserved someone like her. There was this toxic shame that I'll get into later. She even voiced it to me one day. She was so intuitive. She goes, one night we're just laying in bed. She goes, Josh, do you even think you deserve me? I mean, she just felt it. It's not even a conversation we had. But eventually I started begging and pleading, and I made the most deadly mistake that a man can make when a wife asks for space or a woman asks for space in a relationship. And I'm going to share that one in a second. The point of telling you this principle is that I didn't give her the space she needed when she was asking for it, because there was still a chance when she was asking. I mean, every word, every action, every thought, it all came from this place of reactivity from me, from fear, from anxiety, and each action from that place, it only led to more of our demise. What she needed was for me to give her that space to allow her nervous system to relax, to find healing. But I believed that what many other men say is I thought, space will make her forget me. When in fact, space is what allows her to see you from a new light and begin to miss you. And it allows you to look inward and reflect on how it got so bad, how I went from love and beauty and this romance and intimacy to where it was there. And I'm going to give you a proven process on how to do that later as well with one of the corrective actions. But check out this.
And then you give space. And if you do that, space is your friend. And I didn't ever think space would be my friend. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah, speak to that a little bit more. Like, for some guys, when you say that, I know they're going to get in their head thinking, how much space, when, what does space mean, right? So can you speak more to that?
And I remember there was a day, can't remember what she got mad at, validated it. I went to get some body work done, came back, I could see she was a little bit calmer, went to give her a hug and say, hey, you want to take a walk? She was like, no, she was a little distant, gave me that sort of whatever look. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to go for a walk. I left for a walk. The thing I realized at that time, if this was before this program, I would have been stressed out trying to figure out how do I make her happy again. I didn't give a shit. I went there and I had my walk and I enjoyed my walk. I liked looking at the water, didn't even think about it. I get halfway through the walk because it's like a loop. It's called Brickell Key. And I'm halfway through the loop and she's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm walking to Brickell Key. She's like, well, I'm coming. Mimi, which way are you going? You going north or south? I'm going north. Okay, I know exactly. I'll meet you halfway.
The main point of the first part of this story is that when she asked for space, it is not over. When she said it's done, or even I love you, but I'm no longer in love with you. A lot of guys, when they react with fear, they're just confirming what she already believes, but there is still a chance if you give her that space. Let's talk about the second mistake that most men make that I made as well. Now, despite me being so needy and insecure in that relationship, she actually wanted to work it out with me. She expressed so in many text messages. And in that time period, I remember I couldn't sleep. I wanted to text her every single day. I would walk by her apartment just to see if I would run into her or if she was home. I was in complete reaction mode. And then all of a sudden in this mode, I had a bright idea. What if we just sat down, looked at all the problems that led to where we were, and we resolved each one kind of like a checklist? It made logical sense. And I remember earlier in our relationship, I wrote notes about our conflict one time in conversation, and I had this notepad and we talked it out, and she commented that she loved that about me. So why wouldn't she love this? So there I was, late on a Saturday night. I remember start writing till like 2 a.m. This like whole dissertation of our relationship. I had problem number 1, her opinion. We can't communicate. Here's solution number 1. We go see a couples therapist. Solution number 2, the alternative option. I put more work into that, even though I had a thesis that I had to do for grad school. And then one day, when I finished this thing, I was so excited to run it by her, and I text her saying, hey, could we talk? She actually agreed, and I sat down with her. And in that 1 hour conversation, I had so much hope that it would break open this tunnel of light towards our salvation and reconciliation back together. And so I opened the floor to the idea, and I started reading off all this. And after the first minute, I could feel her energy, her repulsion, her inattention and lack of respect growing with each word that came out of my mouth. So she stopped me after about 2 minutes. She said, Josh, I don't think this is going to work. I think we should just be done. And I sat there just in utter shock, anger, confusion. It was just this pile of emotions all jumbled together, and I was in so much pain. I didn't get it. I tried so hard. I invested so much time and energy. Don't women want a man to invest into the relation? Why was she doing this? In order for me to explain why this logical and consultant approach doesn't work, let me show you how a mind's woman operates. All right, so this is a lot less complicated than it looks. It's actually pretty simple. Let me walk you through it. So right here, we have the actions that you could take in any moment with her. You are either doing things that are bringing her closer to you or pushing her further away. That's just a truth, right? Now, any pressure you put on her, any control, it makes her feel that you are low value. Okay, it's just a disconnect with her. However, if you give her value, which I'll break down what value is to a woman with the apex actions later on, you give her safety. But I want to let you know with the 80%, stopping these two behaviors and mistakes, it removes a lot of the negativity that makes her feel unsafe. Remember that 80-20 rule, 80% is stopping the negative behaviors. Okay, so we have the logical landscape, which is the conscious mind, and then we have the emotional landscape, her subconscious mind, and the women actually choose to stay and be with a man based on how they feel, the emotional landscape. So on the surface, I chose problem solving, right? The consultant approach, which many men do. Now on the surface, it seems like we're gonna work through problems, find a solution, intimacy. But what she feels is the force behind it. Right? It's a forceful feeling. Even if you're like, well, no, I'm doing this from love. I'm doing this because I want us to work. She feels the intention behind it, that coming from a place of need. However, if I were to give her space in that moment, which many men do in our program, we teach them how to give the wife space, and we focus on their own behaviors, how they got there, which I'll teach you again in a little bit. What happens is that one, it validates your own esteem. It shows her, oh, he can be by himself. He's good without himself. So therefore I'm going to value him. And it creates curiosity, because curiosity is the unsung hero of emotions that a woman needs to feel in order to come back to a man. And that's only created in a space. And that leads to more value in her mind, perceived value, that you are a valuable man, which makes her feel safer. And it activates the most important need a woman has, which is the attraction paradox of wanting to be desired, but still feel safe with a man. Now, I talked about looking inward at yourself. So this is the next part we're going to talk about the first action you must take to have that inward reflection. So even if she does come back, you are a new man, and the whole process isn't going to repeat. Because if she comes back when you haven't made these changes, the whole thing is just going to go over again the same way, and then you're not going to have a chance to win her back. Now, for the third principle, we call it reevaluating what is valuable. When most women come into our program, they'll say the same thing.
I mean, we've got hundreds of employees. She's got 6 cars to drive. We got 4 homes. And I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter. Where I was feeling we were successful, we were really, our personal issue was coming into play here. And it wasn't about the money. Anyway, I was just immediately, and I've seen it in your group calls, the guys want to talk and I wanted to talk. And it just got worse.
Now, a lot of men, they think that what women really value are these external metrics. And social conditioning will reinforce this, and you'll even have people that reinforce this. But women do value these external things. It's not a matter of if they value it, it's how much. And as men, we're so logical. We think women highly value these logical things way more than the 5 internal actions I'm going to show you and break down for you in a bit. That's why the majority of the men, when they come into the program, like you've seen, they say, I don't get it, Josh. We were the it couple. We had the vacations, the homes. I'm a good father. I'm a good this. I'm a good that. We're best friends. We're business partners. We're all these things together. We're a perfect fit. Why is she unhappy? Because they're lacking the internal qualities that she finds immensely more valuable. Your wife would rather be with you in a shoebox if you had all these qualities, internal qualities, 100%, and none of the external, then vice versa. You can ask any woman this, unless they have intense trauma around money and they need money to feel safe at an extremely high level, but you don't want to be with a woman like that. 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, you're going to want to be with a woman who does value these internal qualities in yourself. And this is why the little things matter. Why you can have this huge promotion and you made the biggest sell of your life. You come home and you're excited and you're like, honey, guess what? what? I got the promotion or I got the job thing, but you forgot to take out the trash in the morning like you said you would. She's going to be like, hey, okay, great. But you didn't take out the trash. And you're like, what the hell? Like I just made this the biggest promotion of my life, the biggest sell of my life. And you're complaining about the trash because the little things matter, because that little thing you didn't do to her shows a lack of being a man of your word. And that little thing actually speaks volumes of who you are as a man.
This is so that I can be the guy that I deserve to be, the guy that I've been keeping, pushing down and keeping away from the world. And I deserve to be that guy. And when I first started doing it for me, it changed my entire life. Like I was more confident at work and I was more confident with my friends. I was a leader. Like we would do training and I would take charge of the drills that we were doing. And and things with my wife, like she was so much more calm and she was so much more just ready to follow me because I finally had that presence that said, I've got this, you can count on me.
The best compliment a woman can give you is for her to look at you in the eye and say, I feel so safe with you. Right. And that only comes from that stability that we just talked about. It's that presence. It's that anchor in who you are, the holding your boundaries. And I mean, that, and I will argue this to the end of the world, that is more valuable than any amount of money or muscle or whatever external value a guy has. Like if he doesn't have presence, a woman just disconnects, right? She doesn't feel safe. And so safety is the core number one.
Now the 20%, the apex actions. Now, the best way to get these actions is to actually set up a call with our marriage evaluation team. You can go through our whole entire YouTube channel and find them all yourself and absorb all the material. But for men that need to get results fast, you get the most effective and immediate way to change how she feels, setting up a free call with her marriage evaluation. What we're going to do on that call, we're going to assess to see how you got to where you are in the marriage. How did it really fall apart? What actions are pushing her away, even though it should bring her closer? And then we're going to lay out a proven roadmap on how to get her back. Now, set up the call, simply click the link down below, but only do so if you're fully invested and ready to make a change in the marriage and yourself. Now, the fourth principle here is finding the source of your pain. So what actually led to our devising the relationship in the first place with the woman that I wanted to marry? Well, deep down, I refuse to see a common truth among all the men who you work with have. There was this deep void inside of me that I didn't dare to let that. I didn't feel good enough for her. I mentioned this to you. I had toxic shame from my past. You see, my first relationship, half the reason I even chose to help men save their marriage is I got with a woman who destroyed me. The other half is because I saw my parents demise and I didn't want that to happen to other family couples. And I still remember to this day, those words she said to me. And I never forgave her or myself for the longest time. And because of that lack of forgiveness, I held on to the past and I was doomed to repeat it because it was what I was focusing. Now, those two women may have been different. The first one, the one I wanted to marry, but emotionally, I reacted and said each time I panicked, right? I did two mistakes. I panicked, I used logic, I tried to force the situation. Now, for you, it may not be a past relationship. Some guys, it's their second marriage, right? Which is why the divorce rate is so high in the second, third marriage. For you, it could have been your mother, your father. Doesn't matter. Someone who created this original wound in you that made you not feel good enough. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that the wound will recreate the same pain and problems over and over again until it is solved, which is why it's so important to get expert help with someone who knows this. Now, because you're staying to the very end of this video, I know you're committed. I want to reward you with something. That's one of the 5 pillars. It's probably the most important one, I would argue. By the way, it gets results like this.
The results were overwhelmingly positive. Like my wife really responded well and it was so good. Like she started opening up to me again. Our bedroom life was phenomenal. Like it was the best time of our marriage.
Today we had our last meeting. The counselor says, guys, I think we're okay. And my wife says, I do too. And that happened this morning. And that was her saying it. It wasn't me. I'm back in the house and it's good.
Like you said, this program, you could have your wife back in less than a month. And I had my wife back in less than 2 weeks. It just progressively got better. She said to me, she looked me in the eye. She's like, this program's been great for you because it's like we're back at the beginning of our marriage, but better.
Now look, the pillar here is to focus on the process over the outcome. You see, right now, if you're going to look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to say to yourself, you're not the same man that she fell in love with, are you? You're not as confident. You don't have the strength that you used to. You used to be so passionate about life. And as much as you loved her and cared about her, you didn't envelop your own sense of identity into her. Okay. But over the time, complacency set it does for men. It's a part of the human condition. And now she's giving you an opportunity to look at yourself and say, how can I become a better man? You see, because whether it's God, for me, I believe it's God, or you just think it's logical, you're no longer the man that she fell in love with. You guys have all these memories and all kids and the house, all this stuff. So logically, she should be with you, but she is a woman first. And how you make her feel is most important. And it's not that far to switch how she feels. A lot of guys think because she said it's over, because she moved out, because of this, because of that. We've seen guys who the wife is about to marry another man, in love with another man, and they want her back because of who they became in the process. And so when you take all of your energy and you stop putting it on her, saying, I need her back to complete me, instead you say, you know what? I'm going to become a man that when I look in the mirror again, I am so damn proud of myself for who I am. You could say that with work, maybe as a father, but in all domains, in your physical fitness and in your goals, connection with other men, everything we provided the program, challenging yourself. That's who you become. That's who she needs you to become in this world. And that's who you will become if you follow this process of stop focusing on her and focus on yourself. Build yourself up again to where you meet that desire that she has, that you want her in your life, that you don't need her. Because if you fail to master this now, it will happen in the next relationship, or maybe your kids. And I don't say this to threaten you and try to make you feel bad, but your kids will repeat the same pattern. It just happens. It's logical. They're going to pick up on your subconscious limiting beliefs. Just a thing. So if it's important for you to figure this out, start to shift your energy towards yourself. And we give all those tools away for free throughout the channel. But if speed's important and you want a framework and guidance, that's the program is for. And here's a video of one of the guys who saw it, the full video of his interview, his testimonial. Here's another video of one of the other pillars of an Apex man. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next.